Yes, Roundup family, good day to you. Good day to you. This is Chris Haskins hanging out with Jessica Segal. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good. Happy Friday, everybody. Uh, Listen, as you can see, I got no makeup on. My hair's in a bun. I am in it today. I got a quick one for you. I'm up to my eyeballs in a lawsuit, and I
Hold
stayed.
on, you gotta jump right in it. I want to give you the backstory first. I gotta do I gotta introduce you and all this stuff.
All right, then go for it. I'm just gonna
All
start
right.
talking.
I'm not your client. You don't have to
Yeah.
all right, real quick. Roundup. Our mission is to raise your financial literacy because sometimes people, this is the first time they're seeing us. Raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Fridays, 2 o'clock, sometimes three, depending on our schedule. Jessica Siegel is an attorney in New York. She knows an estate planning attorney, does all this stuff in the city. I'm not in the city, but in northern New York. And I like to catch up with her on Fridays to see what's going on in her world. So today, give us a background, Jay, before we get to the thing. Got to go to the thing before the thing.
Yeah, so it's great. I love joining you on Fridays. We give people some legal tips or advice specific to real estate investors. And, my background is in litigation. I'm a trial attorney. So I adapt some of my experiences for real estate investors with, LLC formation, partnerships. And we do a lot of estate planning for real estate investors as well.
Yeah.
So this week, I've been working on the answer to a lawsuit. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of background because, if people are just starting to watch, you can go back and look at our old videos. One of the things that you and I have talked about multiple times is the danger of bringing in a partner to your single member LLC. If you really don't know the person well, you're putting a lot of trust in them that they're going to be fair and not steal from you, mismanage money, or run off with your company. So that's why we talk about sometimes it's better to just do a joint venture than to actually bring in a true business partner. When you bring in a partner, you're now connected to that person for liability purposes, for money, for everything. So obviously while it's going on now, I have to be very careful what I talk about, and so I'm going to just talk in general, for one of my clients, trusted someone, brought them into his existing business as a partner, and then they developed other LLCs, other businesses as they continue to grow. And so the benefit of an LLC is you're limiting your assets to that one company. So it was smart to set up different LLCs for different companies, but they were each 50-50 partners. They're connected in all these different companies. So now you're really interwoven into this other person's life. And eventually there became a crack in the foundation, really, and trust was broken when one partner finds out that things weren't being done right, and all communication breaks down. So, here my client would have liked to have resolved things amicably, but it's just not going to work out. And so a lawsuit was filed basically to force the business divorce to settle financial debts of the corporation. And
So it's usually somebody, Jay, somebody that's being fraudulent and somebody being honest. Or in my experience, it's usually somebody. So is it the case here, or is it a misunderstanding?
It's my belief that it's fraud, and so I wanted to tell you a little bit about those allegations. So when you're a member of a limited liability company, you're a shareholder of a corporation, you created a fiduciary duty to the business. And that term is key, fiduciary duty. And what that means is you have a legal obligation to work for the benefit of the greater good, of the business, of the corporation, not your personal pocket. And so when you take on the duties and responsibilities of being a fiduciary to the company, you have to make sure that you are properly managing the money, properly documenting the money transactions, bills being paid, You have to take out only, how you pay yourself, how you reimburse yourself. If you give loans to the business, you have to properly document that. You cannot commingle funds between your personal bank account and different business accounts without documenting things properly. So in this particular case, there's a variety of claims, and the most common one is breach of fiduciary duty. You have, the partner has broken that trust and has not done what he's ethically required to do for the company, and my client can get financial damages for that, can be paid for that. There's what's called unjust enrichment, okay, and that's a big deal for those of you that do the physical labor, but not necessarily the money piece to the investment. So my client was the one doing all the physical work. Okay, he's there day to day, physically with the broom in his hand, taking care of the day to day of the property, marketing the property, social media for the property, all those really important equitable things, but not necessarily the financial contribution. And so now there's a breakdown, and he hasn't been paid for any of his work.
Wow.
The other partner thinks he's entitled to nothing because he put the money in. So there's claims for unjust enrichment, which means it would not be fair, basically, to not be compensated for any of the work I did. Just
unjust, what's it called?
It's called unjust enrichment.
We can't use it. I'm thinking about to use it with my wife, but I'll leave that alone.
For the sake of your marriage, I'm going to say no.
I'm sorry, I had to. Go ahead.
That's what we do on Fridays. I would like to point out as well, is that a genie on the desk behind you?
It's Will Smith.
That's awesome. Yes. So he's your good luck genie in business.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you have your breach of fiduciary duty, you have your unjust enrichment, and then we also have fraud. Okay, fraud is you are inducing someone to act because you told them a lie, right? You've promised somebody that something is true when it's not, or you basically, just outright lied to them to get them to go into business with you, to go into partnership with you, to give up their right to something. Mm-hmm. And if you obviously you have to prove all these things, but that's another claim. So I have multiple claims for breach of fiduciary duty, because remember, we have 3 different companies, one for each company. You have unjust enrichment claims for each company for putting physical work and labor into each company. You have fraud for inducing him to come in as your partner for each company. So you have, and then you have, I have some claims for what's called defamation of character. Okay. Now, I teach at the community college, criminal justice, and we talk about the constitutional rights, right? There is a constitutional right to free speech. However, not all speech is protected. So when you disparage somebody's reputation in writing to others, when you know it's not true. If you, for example, accuse somebody of stealing, or you accuse somebody of committing a crime, and you know for a fact it's not true, but you send that email because you're trying to discredit them in the business world, you're trying to disparage their reputation with staff, customers, you're trying, that lying about their character is going to cause emotional distress. There are damages for that. So you've got defamation. Now, slander is when you do it verbally, and libel is when you do it in writing. So there's this balance of your freedom of speech. Truth can be a defense to the claim, but if you're just out there completely lying with the purpose of destroying somebody's reputation, my client can get rewarded financially for that with damages. So especially when you're in a heated business dispute, I always caution people, less is more. Do not take out your frustration or anger in writing, on social media posts, or to other people, because that's evidence. And so we have so much evidence to use.
Wow.
against this partner for claims. And then there's this sort of catch-all, intentional infliction of emotional distress. If you are knowingly and intentionally, I'm going to use the word like messing with your business partner, doing things to embarrass them or inhibit their ability to conduct business, to block them from access to the books and records of the business for the purpose of causing them emotional harm, that's a claim also where my client could get damages, financial money and damages for that.
What is the root cause? Where is this coming from, Jessica? I mean, because at the end of the day, somebody wants something and somebody doesn't want to give up something.
Right.
Where is all this coming from?
So, listen, I over 20 years, I've seen a lot of antisocial behavior. Okay. So I certainly can't comment on why somebody does something. I have no idea. I have no idea what motivates people to behave this way. I really don't, and it would honestly be inappropriate for me to comment on why the partner is behaving that way. What I can just tell you from my experience as a prosecutor, prosecuting criminal, and I guess as a litigation attorney too, unrelated to this case I'm working on because I can't comment on that. Is there's a lot of, people motivated by narcissistic behavior, antisocial behavior, meaning they're solely focused on themselves. They're so afraid of like a scarcity mindset. Money motivates people to commit crimes. Fear motivates people to commit crimes. A lot of times people just have no self-awareness. They do not think they've done anything wrong. They think it's everybody else's fault. I've done plenty of business divorces that are amicable, where both people just decide, you know what, we're going to go our separate ways, and I wish you the best, and let's just split the bank account 50-50, and good luck to you.
Yeah.
Really only a handful that get this ugly, and it's always based on money. Somebody feels they're entitled to more money, or they've racked up a bunch of credit card debt and they don't want to be hold the bag, held whatever, stuck with that bag of crap. It's typically money, or it's typically some sort of scorned personal relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see it where there's infidelity. If you have intimate relationships for the businesses, things like that. And I'm sure you've seen it. You've been in business for over 20 years yourself. I mean, there's just some people who are crooks. They're criminals, and they're going to try and scam people out of whatever they can. That's so I don't know. I don't know that my client will ever really get the answers that he wants. I mean, my client is a really good guy and has a great reputation, and I think was really taken back by how this went down. But like anybody else who's got a really good head on their shoulders, he's a good businessman. He's going to pick up and move on. And it's just a learning experience.
How long were they in business, Jay? Because I don't know how much you can go. Is it like a new relationship, or have they been knowing each other for 10 years, or is it something that just came out?
It was relatively new, developed over a short couple of years.
Gotcha.
And you almost have to have it go on for a while to not notice what's happening, right? Because this is what we've talked about. You have to pay attention to your books and records. Even if your partner is the one who says, hey, I'll take care of the bills and the bookkeeping, don't just trust blindly. You have to check in. Even if you hire a bookkeeper for your business, you have to check and make sure that somebody isn't mismanaging your money or stealing from you. And so in this particular case, we're going to see how it plays out. Ultimately, I'm asking the court to appoint a neutral person to audit books and records. And look at all of the finances, which is going to cost my client thousands of dollars. Because an independent person has to look line by line through the credit card records, the bank records, the spreadsheets. That's unfortunately how theft or mismanagement is discovered. An independent auditor comes in and finds it.
Whew.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
And it'll unfortunately also takes a long time, till the judge gets assigned, then the auditor gets assigned, then the auditor does their job, then we're exchanging discovery, then we have depositions. If we can't agree, we go to trial. I mean, it could be a long time before this is resolved.
If I'm going through this situation with a business associate, and depending on the income from our business, how does that work, Jay?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The judge can freeze the bank account so nobody can touch the money. And basically the court assigns a referee or a receiver, some states, depending on what they call it, to basically pay you your salary, pay your bills. So you no longer can control your own bank account. It's very, very scary for people to not have control over their money.
Wow.
So it's another very key consideration when joining up as a partner with somebody in your business. Now, you can bring somebody in and make them a limited partner or a small shareholder with no right of access to the bank accounts. I mean, you can do that. Somebody could come in with a financial contribution and be a limited partner, without any voting rights, without any bank access rights, things like that. You can design your LLC however you want it to be set up.
Nice. So you're recommending for people not to get into this situation of just to use your joint venture stuff? Is that what you're thinking? Do a joint venture?
I mean, I think you have to really know the partner well. And if you don't, consider a joint venture instead of a partnership, or have a very, very carefully drafted operating agreement that restricts certain, in this particular case, their agreement said you're not supposed to spend more than X amount of dollars without written permission or written consent. So when this partner just was spending out of control, he breached the operating agreement. So now my client has recourse. So just make sure your operating agreement spells out very clearly how much money can each partner spend without the other's permission.
So you said first you recommend a joint venture, then the operating agreement. To me, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm like, even with the operating agreement, Jay, you still got the act has to happen. Then you got to catch it, and you got to come after them. I mean, isn't that that's not overnight.
Right. Exactly. So basically, if you want to avoid the risk, do a joint venture agreement. Your two LLCs work together on this project, and that's it.
Yeah.
If some businesses though just don't work that way. So if you need to be partners, then make sure your operating agreement is very clear so that if somebody does go rogue on you, yes, you have to wait to catch it, but then at least you have legal recourse. You can sue them to recover that money.
Man, shit, yeah. I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm just doing business every day, and then I have to go play cat. I mean, I gotta go catch it and.
Right. That's why there's a lot of trust between. There has to be a lot of trust between partners, and quite honestly, this is the exact reason we hear on the news all the time that somebody has stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars from a company because nobody's watching, and they're trusting that the person is doing what they say they're going to do, and not steal. So you really do, if you're going to run a successful business, you have to be vigilant in checking the books and records, or have a neutral bookkeeper that you trust. It doesn't have to just be one or other partner. Hire an independent bookkeeper, so that it's somebody looking out for the two of you.
I see. Okay. Well, I appreciate you for sharing that experience, Jay. Good.
Yeah, so we've probably scared off anybody from doing multi-member LLCs. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Knowing what I know, I'd be very hesitant to have or.
It creates more work with a tax return. I mean, I've seen people get in trouble if they don't file properly. The IRS is they're waiting to come on multi-member LLCs. I've seen it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Then you got people trying to claim mileage. you know, you got to make sure that that stuff done right. I mean, it could be crazy.
Right, right. Like if you and I were going to team up to create some sort of product together or work on something, we would do a joint venture. We're not going to become business partners in a corporation. My company and your company would do a JV agreement. You know, there's lots of options, and I highly recommend people have a consultation with an attorney, a business attorney, before you jump into bed with another business partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth that consultation fee so that a professional can warn you of all the things that can happen or set you up the right way so you avoid complications down the line.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Any questions out there? Probably not. Not the most thrilling stuff.
I'm scared my daggone self. I know people watching like, dang. So what's at stake here, Jay? We're talking about a bunch of money on your side. I mean, I always like to pull.
Well, listen, the you know, the partner is asking for reimbursement for $80,000 that he's claimed he's owed. My client disputes that he's owed anything. So we're pretty much fighting over $80,000 in dispute.
It's big money to me.
It is. It really is. So, and that's why those are the kind of cases that go to court. If you're arguing over, you know, $5,000, you know, I would typically encourage my client to just settle on something rather than pay attorney's fees and court costs for things that are a nominal settlement. But when you're talking about this kind of money, yeah, those are the kind of cases that go to court, go to trial.
And in this situation, no doubt, you tried to figure out a way to work it out without having to use the system.
Yes, yes. Multiple attempts were made, emails, phone calls, and a face-to-face meeting. And we just aren't even remotely close as to what the appropriate settlement should be.
Gotcha.
You know, time will tell. Time will tell. But I'll definitely let you guys know how it ends.
Yeah, that's really nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Anthony, we got a subject 2 question. You want me? I can read it. If he's doing a subject 2, how does he find out if the seller has PMI? PMI.
So you can ask to see the mortgage statement. The PMI will be listed on the mortgage statement.
And you have your authorization, Anthony. You better have an authorization to release. I wouldn't even be talking to the seller unless I had an authorization to release signed, my friend.
Yes.
Oh, Anthony has another one. He said his attorney wants him to have a radon disclosure. Do you recommend that, Jay, for subject 2? I don't know. I never did one of those.
Well, I would defer to the attorney he's talking to in his home state over what I may know in New York.
Radioactive gas can be harmful. I'm sure it can. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, a lot of radon is actually quite common. We have a lot of those in New York, those disclosures and things like that.
Yeah. I hear you say don't back out once you sign the purchase and sale, but don't I need to get that signed to get the title search? Yes,
no,
you do.
You can do a title search.
You don't want to have a purchase and sale agreement before you can do a title search before you sign the contract, Jay?
You sure can. You call up your title company and say, hey, listen, can you run a quick, so that's why it's important to have a relationship with a title company. Call up and say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about buying this property. Can you do a quick search for me? And you'll be charged a nominal fee for it. They're not, you know, they're basically just doing a quick computer search for you and then giving you a verbal answer over the phone. And if you do enough business with them, they typically don't even charge you for that because they know they'll get you business if you purchase something.
Now I'm thinking about Jessica. No doubt she can pick the phone up and get this done with either you might be. Can you do it in your office as well? Can you do that?
I don't have a title company in my office. I have a title company that I use on a regular basis that we call and say, hey, listen, can you look into this for me? Can you check on that for me?
Yeah, I got you.
Right. So he should go to a title company in his area, build a relationship with them, go take them to lunch. You know, there's all kinds of like, especially with the holidays coming, all these chamber events. Get to know your title insurance company or different, you know, financial people.
I'm thinking, Anthony, when Jessica's, and to both of us, we are I guess we're marred. We have all these years of layers and layers of experience. I'm thinking that Jessica's like, I just call up blah 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 and they just do it for me.
Yes.
Jessica, no doubt, has these relationships, Anthony, that I don't know if you have or not. So I think she's saying, try to develop those relationships.
Yes. Right. Got to start somewhere. It's never too late,
That is true. You're right. Just make the trust. If you don't know if you're gonna buy it, I gotta ask Jessica too. I know what each house we're gonna do, we're gonna just do it X trust. I'm not worried about help. Is that what you recommend, Jay, or what? I don't know.
Say that one more time.
He's nervous if he's not gonna buy it. Well, what are you doing?
Well, the trust is just a contract, right? And so if you don't buy it, the trust is not funded with any assets, so you can always dissolve it.
Don't worry about that. Is there a standard joint venture contract I could use for doing wholesale deals? Yours is pretty good, Jessica, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what do you use for your wholesale at JB?
Joint venture agreement. I need to know, look, you're gonna look for the buyer. we're gonna split the whatever. Yeah, Jessica drafted it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christian. If you go to chrishaskins.com, you'll see Jessica's joint venture agreement right there. It's got boom, 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 boom. Each line item. It's just 2 or 3 pages, and you can use that for it.
Yeah, that'll be good for you.
Yeah. All right, Jessica. Final thoughts, and we're gone.
Oh my goodness! Final thoughts.
Document everything.
Yeah, I guess final thoughts are be nice to people. I know that sounds so. These are my thoughts, right? Be nice to people.
What do you mean by that?
This has become so litigious, and there's just these are people who were friends, and money gets in the way of things, and people just unravel. The behavior I've observed from the other partner, from attorneys. There was a, I'll finish with this, right? There was an article recently in the American Bar Journal, which is for lawyers, a newsletter, about the rate of burnt out attorneys in this country. The basic civility of how people treat each other has gone out the window. People are just nasty and rude. They expect an immediate response. They're disrespectful to people when they talk to each other. And there's sort of been this just like breakdown in just basic human courtesy, right? And so it shocks me to really at how vicious some people can be for no reason. There's no benefit to you to behave that way. Right. So, it sounds silly, but even today, going to pick up my lunch, driving to Panera, there's me and another car and one parking spot. Right. I waved the other person on to take the parking spot because I'm healthy. I can walk. I'll find another parking spot further away. I'm blessed.
I like that attitude.
I let her go in, and the look on her face was like the biggest smile. Like she couldn't believe that someone would give her the close spot
wow.
and for themselves, right? And it's those little things. I clearly made her happy to have the close spot. It cost me nothing. It's a beautiful day out. And, I walked a couple of extra feet, and, so I kind of like approach every day like that. Just be nice to people. Hold the door open for somebody. Say thank you, wow. Be appreciative. And I know that I get satisfaction from that personally, but it's also, I try and give out that good energy to the universe. And if everybody did that, what a world we can have, right?
Wow, you're right. That's strange to hear you say that. I'm just imagining the amount of dollars that you have seen come through the court over the years.
Oh yeah.
But the most important thing you're remembering is I'm like, wow, that's very deep.
Yes, I do. I think being a trial attorney and a litigator and fighting for a living. My job is to fight with people. It is exhausting. that that's not who I am as a person, though. That is my job. And a second that I put my computer down, or I walk away from my desk, or I walk out of the courtroom, I'm me, and I'm trying to make this world a nicer place. And
Wow, that's cool.
I truly wish all lawyers behave that way. They don't, but I hope, but I wish we all did. So I guess that's my parting word for today. Be nice to people.
Well, I know the Roundup family definitely appreciates you, and that's the reason that I love to have you on.
Thank you.
When we first met, I'm like, you're not the average attorney. I know the attorneys I know, they'll take your money and won't do. I don't want to curse, but they won't do anything.
Yeah. No, I see it. I know it. I listen, at least once a week, I have a conversation with somebody where I'm like, listen, go to this website or go do this. You can do this yourself. You don't need to pay me. Go figure, like, I don't want to just take money from people. I want to do meaningful, good work for people who really need the help.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Wait, you always ask me, what's your parting word?
Well, my parting words are not the parting words. I mean, I'm going to see you guys from here until I move on to the afterlife. But I am really trying to leave people, places, and things better than when I met them. I'm
Yeah.
going to leave people, places, and things better than they were when Chris Haskins arrived. I just see so many people in life take. What can I take? What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? I mean, it drives me up the. I don't want to curse today. It drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
Take. And I'm like, it's crazy. I don't know why it works, but it's like if you just give, your life will be elevated. I mean, this is the best.
The law of attraction, right? The basic the law of attraction. And I'm the same way, and I think that's why. Well, I know that's why we're drawn to each other, and why we hang out on Fridays.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I got you. I know I'm leaving now, but I got you Tuesday. We're back on the schedule for Tuesday?
Oh, I don't. Are we? We're talking Tuesday?
Well, we'll talk. We'll get offline and we'll go over it.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right, round up. Peace.